oh my god, like, oh, so savage.
Hey everyone, this is Alex, and welcome back to the TDBR podcast. On today's show, we're talking about Promising Young Woman, a thought-provoking movie that was released at the tail end of 2020. We also go off on our usual drunken conversational detours on subjects such as social media, Hans Zimmer, and Austin's love for the Kung Fu Panda trilogy. Just a warning for listeners, the movie we talk about today tackles sexual assault culture, so if themes such as this make you uncomfortable, we recommend that you might want to skip this one. As always, if you like what you hear, please subscribe to our podcast and share it with your friends. We thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show.
All right, good or the great, we're live, brother.
What's up, dude? What's been going on?
How long has it been since we did the last podcast? Like 2 weeks, probably?
I think exactly 2 weeks
Yeah.
on this day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's usually about, lines up on 2 weeks. Not shit, dude. Nothing different.
I haven't done anything exciting this year yet.
I watched this movie, and that was exciting. I've been on a movie kick. I've been trying to give myself more time to watch movies lately. I finally got around to finishing the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'd seen them before,
Yeah.
but I was way too young to remember really a whole lot of it. And I remember, I think it was during quarantine sometime last year, there was a sale on Vudu for like all 3 extended edition of the original trilogy for $20. So it was a snag to buy them. And so I did, and I ended up watching Fellowship of the Ring and The Two Towers, but I never got around to watching Return of the King. Mm-hmm. And I watched Return of the King at such a terrible time. I watched, started it at 11 a.m. And then I watched it for an hour, and then my buddy finally hit me up for trying to play video games because he hadn't responded to me in a couple hours. And then we were gonna play video games, and never got back to me. And then as I'm watching this movie, he's like, "Hey, you ready to play games?" I'm like, "Fuck, I guess." And I'm so then I played games with him, and I'm like, "Shit, I gotta finish this movie." So I didn't finish the movie till 5:30 in the morning because they're 4 hours long.
Yeah,
but it was well worth my time.
Is it essential to watch the extended version? How much extra is there in the movies?
I don't know what scenes exactly have been cut. I actually only ever seen the extended editions. Because the theatrical releases, I wasn't there for that. They were from the early 2000s, so I never went and watched them. And then we only had the extended editions on DVD, on Blu-ray when they came out. So I never I don't know exactly what scenes are cut. I don't have that knowledge at hand. I'm sure there's plenty of Lord of the Rings fans out there who would be able to tell you exactly.
Because I know it extends the movie quite a bit. I'm just curious what they add in or what they uncut.
Probably a half hour to 40 minutes worth of probably scenes. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of an adventure, man. The first one's kind of just literally sets the story in motion, and it's 3.5 hours long. So I think their total runtime between the 3 of them is just over 11 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah, for 3 movies. It's not like it's Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter's 23 over 7 or 8 movies technically.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
None of the Harry Potter movies are more than 2.5 hours long each. That I can remember at least. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think any of them are obviously none of them have ran to 3 hours or anything. But anyway, anything else you listening to good music lately or anything?
There really hasn't been anything exciting in 2021 yet.
There wasn't much exciting in 2020 either.
Nah, there was nothing
we talked about it all year.
Yeah, there was nothing all that game changing last year. I've been listening to this band called Typhoon. They're a little indie folk kind of band, and they just came out with a new record. I've been playing that a lot. I don't know, they're pretty good. Other than that, just the same old shit. A lot of Pine Grove. I don't know, the Antlers have a new album coming out soon.
Oh, yeah.
So
you'll be ready for that.
Yeah, I'll be real excited. It's the first record in 7 years. So
oh shit, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
They've been gone forever.
I'm trying to think. After we did the Daft Punk episode on Discovery, I picked up Random Access Memories. I was listening to that for a couple weeks, and then I was listening to it alongside Discovery as well, just a little bit. And that's kind of it. I recently switched to Spotify, and the curation has been a lot better than Apple Music. So I just have a bunch of random single tracks that I've been getting into. So I'll have to show them you later, and you have to show me that one band.
Do you have you found any potential future favorites? Somebody that you think you might dive even farther into their music?
It's
been a while since I've discovered like a brand new band that like I get really into.
There was this one guy, I don't remember what his name is though, but his song is called "Freaking Out on the Interstate." I don't know if he has like a full length like album or like even an EP. It was like a single, and I haven't really like, clicked on him farther than that.
That's what you were playing in the car earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to really listen to it, but we'll play it later. But the production on it isn't really like up to standard of like radio quality. It's not like radio hit quality, but I kind of like his. I don't know. I don't even know what to reference him from. You'll have to listen to it later. You're better at describing shit than I am. I watched this movie today.
Yeah.
Obviously, by the title, we watched Promising Young Woman. This came out end of 2020, or did it come out at the beginning of 2021?
It was released on Christmas Day last year.
Okay.
Which is an unusual date for a movie.
Like this.
Yeah, with like the topic, like the subject matter that it tackles. I was kind of afraid that you would hate this movie, or like not hate it, but
just not be into it.
Yeah, because just kind of like a movie about sexual assault and stuff seems like not a good time. But it does really well with like its premise, I think.
I think so too. I mean, I've been trying to hold back my thoughts on it all day, like since we've been hanging out and shit. Like, try not to spoil too much of my thoughts yet, but
yeah.
I will go ahead and say that I kind of knew what to expect based on the trailer. I got that. I don't know. I really enjoyed the way the movie handled such a like dark and like serious topic.
Yeah, like this could be like triggering for some people.
Yeah. I think it's listed as like a dark comedy and like a thriller.
Yeah, there's a little bit of comedy in there in some spots.
It kind of reminds me of If Stranger Than Fiction. You ever seen that movie with Will Ferrell?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that. It reminds me of like, it's not really funny,
like
but it
dry humor kind of, or something like that.
Or like it attempts to lighten a very like
a sour mood.
Yeah,
where it's like trying to make the best out of a bad situation or something.
Because like that whole movie, he knows he's gonna die basically, and or not the whole movie, but like over the course of time, he finds out that like his story has to end with death. Spoiler ahead, he doesn't, but like still, but like the whole like him trying to come into terms with like that, but like
he's like trying to live his best life before that day comes.
Yeah, like but
that's a good movie.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. That movie could also take like a different tone and could like be a completely different movie, and like it would like dark comedies really aren't that funny. They're more of like ironies more than like comedy, like ha ha ha.
Yeah, it's not like so like in your face about the humor. Like it's just kind of there, and some people might laugh and some others won't.
Or like situations are funny, not like there's punchlines. That's the point.
Yeah. There's not like jokes.
The situations in this movie are like that. They're not hilarious like by like punchline and stuff. And there's some really funny spots, especially like the front half of the movie. The movie really isn't trying to be funny.
I think like a lot of the humor comes from Bo Burnham's character at points, but like
yeah, he's like the comedic relief.
Yeah, for like a majority of the movie until there's like a revelation at the end, which we won't get into right away.
Before we get into it, since set the plot first. Like, what's the movie about?
So it's about this woman. Her name's like Cassie Thomas, I think,
or Cassandra Thomas. But everybody calls her Cassie.
Yeah. She is a former like medical student. Like she was like in school to be a doctor, and she had to drop out because her friend was sexually assaulted and like committed suicide. Even though it never like blatantly says it, you just kind of assume.
Implied, yeah.
And so she spends her days now acting drunk at bars for like men to pick her up. And then she like takes them home and then like psychologically scares them out of like trying to sleep with her. Like, she's like kind of like taking revenge against like sexual assaulters or like
date rape.
Yeah. Like just like people taking advantage of like a drunk woman.
Because the movie opens up with that. That's kind of just like, this is who she is. This is what she does. And then the next morning, you know, she's with her parents still. She still lives at home and stuff. And she's like 30.
And they're like kind of like trying to imply that she should leave or move out. Like they're not super pushy about it, but they are kind of like, hey, when are you getting out of here?
Yeah, stuff like that. Like they have such awkward like breakfast conversation. Like, didn't hear you come in last night. Like, was everything all right, kind of thing? And he's like, yeah, I had to work real late. And he's like, I thought that place closes at 9. She works at a coffee shop. She's like, I had to do inventory
till like 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's just funny because it reminds me of like kind of like Mean Girls, bratty woman like living at home, but like she was wearing like a pink robe and shit, and I just thought like, I don't know, I got Mean Girl vibes.
There are a lot of like contrasting, like really bright colors in this movie, like contrasting with like darker
Yeah.
backgrounds. Like there's like kind of like a, I don't want to say like a neon kind of vibe or something, but like the color choices seemed really like purposeful. Her wearing the big pink gown, like probably
Yeah.
like sitting in like the really plain ass house.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like it's a nice contrast.
The movie like doesn't work with like the cinematography isn't like super special or anything either. Like the movie doesn't, like, it's pretty straightforward. Like there isn't like any crazy editing or anything. So
Nah, yeah, it's really not unique in that realm.
I was gonna say like for like a dark tone, because sometimes like directors and like cinematographers take that direction with things. Like I don't know what's a good example.
Dark cinematography.
Yeah. Or like just
Shit, like all of like David Fincher's movies usually have pretty dark cinematography.
movie like isn't like, I don't know, it's not some like Oscar crazy editing or anything, but like it's just the whole point of the movie is to tell the story,
Yeah.
like in a like suspenseful way through her. Oh god, how do we start this? We can't like spoil anything like towards the end, I don't think.
Not yet, at least.
No, we can in a little bit.
I guess we should give listeners a warning that we will spoil some things because I feel like we have to talk about it. or
Yeah,
whatever,
of course.
but
Yeah, we always have to. There's major spoilers ahead. If you haven't watched it, go fuck yourself.
I feel bad spoiling like a brand new movie because like we've
Yeah.
been talking about like a lot of older stuff.
Yeah,
on-
and like
on the show.
classics and just like shit that's been out for a few years at a minimum. Because I had to rent it. Like you had to rent it too, but like
Yeah.
like I was like, holy shit, it's $20, and I was like, but I was like, after I watched it, I was like, it is worth $20. I was like super like impressed with the movie.
Yeah, this is one to remember. It definitely leaves like an impression on you, like after it ends and everything. It's one of those movies that I thought about for a couple days after I saw it, so that's why I recommended it in the first place.
I think after breakfast and shit, after she wakes up, probably like, goes to work, which is like the coffee shop, and kind of get introduced to her friend. I can't even remember her name.
She's played by Laverne Cox, I think. She's like a trans woman.
Michigan had.
She used to. She was on Orange Is the New Black. She played on that show.
Okay, I've never seen that.
I used to watch it. I gave up after like 2 or 3 seasons, though. One of those that they doesn't really keep you around.
I remember the hype around that show for a long time, but no one seems to talk about it anymore.
I think it was just because like it was the start of like Netflix original series, and that was like one of the first really like well received ones.
Okay, that was a Netflix original.
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
it was like written by the same person that did like Weeds. If you remember that show, I didn't watch it, but my wife loves it.
I remember that one, but I never watched it. But after breakfast, she goes to the coffee shop and shit, and you kind of just see like she's like a not likable person.
You can tell she's like kind of broken. And this is before you even like really know anything about her, but you can tell that like there's not a whole lot of like life behind her eyes. She's not really friendly to like anybody in the movie.
Until later. I'm trying to remember how the plot moves along.
I feel like the beginning is kind of loose because you get multiple scenes of her like meeting up with like guys at the bar, taking them
Yeah,
home.
like McLovin.
Yeah. What'd you think about like the casting choices for this movie, like the assaulters?
Yeah, the would-be assaulters.
Yeah.
Him specific, because I remember from the trailer, and he was like he was like doing coke and shit, and like he's like, yeah, I'm writing a novel, and it all takes place in one day. He's like, I can't really finish it because I'm a perfectionist. And I'm like, if you're anything like McLovin in real life, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you're not a fun human being to be around. It was so funny, though, and then, like, she was playing upon the fact that he says that he's a nice guy. There's a lot, like, you can kind of dissect, like, on, like, a darker aspect. Like, she kind of, like, has the upper hand the whole time, like, reveals that she's sober. Like, these men don't know her at all. Like, they don't even know her fucking name. And she's like, doesn't know how old she is or like anything like that. And they're just like, nah, I'm a good guy. And I was just like thinking like, damn, like even like when they're caught in the act, like there's a lot of like self-justification or like
deflecting the blame
Yeah.
off of them and stuff.
and like that happens like all the way through the movie. And it's like, that was like kind of like a common theme throughout literally all the men in the movie, which made me sad. The way they were trying to show this, like toxic behavior, I guess, if that makes sense.
Like rape culture.
This whole movie, I was like, I have no faith in men,
Yeah.
except for me and you. That's all I know. That's all I know.
I like how they casted like the men that were like engaged in predatory behavior in this movie. They were all like stereotypically like comedy actors. the very first guy she picks up in the bar, the guy with like the curly-ish hair, he played like, do you remember the show The OC? It was like an HBO show from the 2000s, but
I do not.
he was like one of the main actors on that show, and he was like the nice nerdy guy. Like Bo Burnham is like a nice nerdy guy, and like McLovin,
And he's a stand-up comedian.
yeah, like I feel like they purposely casted likable men as like the ones with the predatory behavior on purpose.
Yeah, I know, because I couldn't help but notice that, like, maybe not the first guy, but not Bo Burnham because he's a doctor, but McLovin, and then the dude that they run into with Bo at the bar, they're like kind of like low status and like nice guys. Like the one guy lives with his mom, and then like McLovin's whatever. I don't even know that guy's real fucking name.
I was going to say, like, everybody just references as McLovin.
You'll know if you can't figure it out, it's McLovin.
He was too iconic in that role that like he can't be known as anything else.
Yeah, they were just like kind of like low status, like I don't know. They just didn't come off as like a physical presence, I guess. Like they didn't have like social status.
I feel like the movie was trying to show that like predatory behavior can happen with like friendly looking like people that like you would want to put your trust in. And that's like something I want to bring up later with Bo Burnham's character. He's like the most likable male lead in the movie for about like an hour or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That broke my fucking heart, bro.
Bo Burnham's character and Cassie kind of become like a thing.
Like to move along the plot a little bit. Bo like sees Cassie working at the coffee shop, and he's like, "Hey, like, what the hell are you doing here?" kind of thing. And like he's still like trying to be nice and like he's super likable. Like I feel like Bo Burnham's just playing Bo Burnham in this movie.
He is, yeah,
exactly. And he was just like super friendly and like he's cracking jokes and shit. And like you can kind of see Cassie like start to.
Warm up to him a little bit.
Yeah, and like she does not warm up the men, as we can see. Like she like spits in his coffee and shit.
I don't remember why. Why does she spit in his coffee the first time?
Because he's like he didn't mean to say it, but he accidentally said like, "Why are you working here?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That was rude," and he's like, "You can spit my coffee now." And then she does, and then he's like, "You want to go on a date with me?" And she's like, "Even after I spit in your coffee," and like he drinks the fucking coffee. I was like, "Nice, bro, balls on this man."
I got a good laugh out loud moment, like when he comes to the coffee shop the second time, and he's like, "One coffee, hold the spit, please."
Yeah,
I laughed at that.
Nah, he was making those parts in his movies. I was laughing on like out loud and shit. He when he was on screen, like my emotions were like all around throughout this movie. Like it was like an emotional roller coaster. I even texted Elizabeth. I was like, "You're gonna love this movie. It's a fucking emotional roller coaster."
Yeah.
And like Bo Burnham when he's on screen, I was just like, "Man, a good guy." Like, so happy now.
It's hard to dislike him because I'm like a fan of him outside of this movie. I watched him like grow on YouTube back in the day.
Yeah.
And then he had his own MTV show for a while. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen it? It's called like Zack Stone is Gonna Be Famous.
I've seen both of his stand-up comedies.
His show only lasted one season. I think it got like bad
reviews or whatever, ratings.
Bad ratings. Me and my wife absolutely love it. It's a funny show.
I'm excited for like the next special that he releases because obviously we ain't going to no comedy shows right now. So I'll be excited to see some more stuff from him because he did 8th Grade too.
Yeah, I was about to say he does directing and stuff now too, and I look forward to like him doing other movies.
Yeah,
because 8th Grade was really great. But
man, some of his comedy is like it's fucking hilarious, but it toys with some touchy subjects sometimes. Like some of his albums and stuff that I've listened to are like. It's I'm not gonna go into it just to refrain from seeming like an ass, but it's just funny as fuck. But his character is super likable.
It kind of seems like Bo Burnham like wrote for his own character because everything he says in this movie feels like he wrote the dialogue for himself or something.
I don't know. We'd have to look that up. Again, like it just feels like he's playing himself, like put in the world kind of this.
We really didn't talk about some of the other casting in this movie. A lot of like the celebrities that show up are like they're all kind of like cameos. The main actress is Carey Mulligan, who I'm not really that familiar with. Like Laverne Cox, Bo Burnham, Adam Brody. The dean at the college is Connie Britton. She was on like American Horror Story and like stuff like that.
Elizabeth was really big into that, and I don't do that. I don't do that stuff.
First 2 seasons were pretty good. It fell off after that. And then Al Monroe, who we haven't talked about yet, the main predatory guy, he was in the Netflix show Glow, like the women's wrestling one.
Yeah, I know what that is, but I've never seen it.
He was like the ring announcer. He's pretty funny in that too. Yeah, another example of a likable guy like getting cast as like the shithead,
yeah,
or whatever.
Nah, yeah, because He is the one that like sexually assaulted Nina. That's kind of like the main antagonist, I guess.
Yeah,
like that. Like we've been leading up to like throughout the whole movie.
Like the driving force, but like for the story.
Yeah.
Cassie learns that Al moved back to the United States from London.
Yes, to get married.
Yeah.
And they live in Ohio. I don't know if you saw that because like we were talking about that earlier. Upstairs before, and we were like trying not to talk about it because we saw the Taft's. We saw the Taft's can on the which is like an Ohio brewery
based out of Cincinnati, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, which is our area. On their like movie Facebook website is called Friender, and under Al Monroe's bachelor party it says Ohio, or I think under his name it says Ohio. Yeah. So I was like, okay.
Does it ever specify like what city they're in?
I don't think so.
Because like I was like looking for like Cincinnati landmarks in the movie, like during the city scenes, but I didn't see anything I recognized.
No, I didn't like recognize the apartment building of Bose and stuff, but I mean, it's hard telling where they shot the movie.
Yeah, it might have not even been shot in Ohio.
Yeah, but like when he comes back to the coffee shop, he's like, we don't even have to like. He's like, let's go for lunch, and they go out to a diner, and like you can kind of see like they're like kicking it off, and yeah, it's like pretty uplifting. Like I thought he was gonna be like a white knight that kind of like brings you out of the shit of like having to do like the nightly
scaring.
Yeah, she's predators. Like kind of like a female Batman, kind of like a vigilante type deal. But like she never like assaults these men or like physically hurts them. It's more like just psychological stress of like, oh, you're a shithead.
I was unsure like what she did at the beginning of the movie because like the first time that she takes Adam Brody's character home, you kind of assume that like she killed him or something because I think the next scene shows her walking down the street and there's like red dripping down her face or something like
it's
that.
It's on her shirt and her arm. It's a jelly donut. I think that was a directing choice to make you think about what happened. Yeah, because it's not explained at that point. Throughout like seeing multiple scenes, you can kind of just see that she's basically just leaving them be.
Yeah, she never harms anybody. Yeah, you never really see any violence in this movie
till the end.
Yeah, till the end. I mean, for a movie about like sexual assault and stuff, you never see sexual assault. They don't even say it.
It's like just like a taboo implied thing.
Yeah,
like,
it's
all the characters are stepping around besides Cassie. I want to jump like straight to the end of this movie, but we'll just kind of build up to it over time.
I gotta get a beer real quick.
We grab me one too. There's a lot of like questions you have like throughout the beginning of the movie, and then you can kind of see that like even though Bo Burnham's like uplifting. And, like, you kind of think that, like, he's going to, like, pull Cassie out of this, like, kind of lifestyle that she's built for herself. You get, like, the Act 1 on the screen, which is, like, weird. When it first came up, I was like, okay, what's going to happen here now? You're right, crack it, bro. Drinking that Purple Haze.
We never brought up what we were drinking.
Well, oh, shit, yeah. Well, we were drinking margaritas. That's because I wanted a bar drink, but too lazy or too cheap to buy multiple liquors to make a mixed drink. So
yeah, we didn't want to buy a $20 bottle of tequila.
Or anything. I didn't want to worry about it. We just got like pre-made cheap ass Jose Cuervos, and it'll be just fine. And then
I thought it was
it's good. Yeah, I mean it's not bad. It's just like plastic bottle margarita.
Yeah.
And then of course I'm doing third time in a row Urban Artifact the Gadget Raspberry Blackberry.
Is that your favorite beer right now?
Yeah, it is. I don't drink unless I'm with Elizabeth. And, like, I'll have a drink at dinner, and, like, unless it's at a social gathering with her family and friends and stuff, or here. So, like, this is my go-to right now, because I have, like, terrible gastro problems, so, like, drinking alcohol isn't great for me to begin with, and this stuff sits pretty easy on my stomach, because it's not full of gluten, and it's a tarted fruit beer, so it's just, it's easy on my stomach. It doesn't make me feel like shit.
The one time I tried it, it was really good. I'm drinking one of my longtime favorites. I've got Purple Haze Raspberry Lager. It's made by Abita, which I've never tried any other beer that they make.
I tried this a long time ago and I hated it.
Yeah.
We have a... You were like, man, you're going to like this one kind of thing. And I was like,
I thought it'd be like a good entry beer for like somebody that like just started drinking.
Yeah, but it's odd that like I loved like Guinness and shit and not that, because like Guinness is such like a more like powerful beer to drink compared to that.
This stuff just tastes like, it kind of tastes like Yingling but lighter, and then it has like raspberry flavoring in it.
Something about it just didn't sit well with me. I might have to try it again later and see if my mind has changed, but for now But after we get like that act 1 like cut scene, like establishing like we're about to go on a fucking mind fuck. Like I think she meets up first with Madison. Is her name Madison?
Yeah, played by Alison Brie.
You're like fucking human encyclopedia over there. All right, go ahead. What's she from? Tell me?
She was also in Glow.
Oh, okay.
But she's been in a bunch of other stuff too. She's pretty good. She's one of my favorite actresses. So
Her face immediately reminded me of Nina's mom. Those two actresses, I don't know what her name is, but we don't get to meet her till later.
Nina's mom, isn't it played by like Molly Shannon?
Maybe that's
or something.
The name. I don't know. Look at you, Mr. Names. She has like done really well for herself, and like she meets her for lunch and stuff, and you can see that Cassie isn't drinking. She orders a bottle of champagne and a ginger ale, and then puts the ginger ale underneath the table after she pours it into her glass. So it's like to show that she's not going to be drinking an alcoholic beverage, but she gets Madison drunk, and like she's having a great time. And then she finally, like after Madison's done talking about how great her life is, she finally is like, "Hey, don't you remember what happened? What do you mean?" kind of thing. And they're like, "Oh, you mean that?" And like bouncing around, like dodging it, and like she's like, "Well, we were kids," and that gets said a lot throughout the movie, like, "Oh, we were kids." And
They were in college.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like an adult at that point.
yeah, like, dude, I could never even imagine. But it's just not in me. But
Yeah, it's
I know
disgusting.
people that could do that. Like I can think of people, but like
that are like capable of it, maybe.
yeah, like not like they're capable of it, but not like I'm not thinking like, oh, I know somebody that sexually assaulted somebody. She's like dodging the question, and like she's like she will not be able to drive home day drunk, and like Cassie's really pressuring her, and like she's like, well, I really hoped you would have like changed your mind for your sake, and like gets up from the table. This like fucked with me a lot because she like has paid someone to like take her to one of the hotel rooms it's a hotel bar, and she like pays someone to like take her to a room, and it's just like fuck, bro. Like how like I was thinking like maybe Cassie isn't like such a great person.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like it implied that like she was getting this man to sleep with Madison or whatever, or like take advantage of her.
Yeah.
And we learn later in the movie that's not what happened.
Like before it's revealed to you, like it's kind of just like in the back of your mind after the scene changes, it's like, damn.
Yeah, you're like that's fucked up.
That is. I was like, damn. That is fucked up. Like that's savage, man. Like
yeah.
Oh my god. You just don't know who to like in this movie, honestly.
Yeah.
Like even at the end, you're just like, damn. Like I don't even know if I really wanted that to happen. I don't remember who she goes to next. I believe it's the dean.
We get a scene before she goes to the dean's office where she like picks up this girl at a school. Like she lies to her and tells her like, yeah, I'm on my way for like a video shoot or something.
It's a music video for her favorite band, Wet Dreams, which is like a boy band. It's implied in the movie, like it's just a boy band. And
we find out that this girl that Cassie picked up is actually the daughter of the dean of the college that Cassie went to, and so Cassie goes to the dean of the college to like have a conversation with her
about maybe returning to school and stuff.
She brings up the Nina situation. The dean like kind of blows it off like, oh, it was like so long ago, or
she didn't even know who it was. But she was like, remembered Alex Monroe or whatever. Is it Alex Monroe or Al Monroe?
I think it's just Al Monroe.
Yeah. She remembers him. And they basically get to the point of like, I can't ruin a young man's life over every little accusation. And so then she gives a taste of her own medicine basically by saying, I've dropped off your daughter at one of the rooms at the at the college dormitories, and she's like, those three boys or whatever like look like they were gonna have a good time, and I was like, damn, I was like, savage, bro. I was like, you're an ant. Like I was just thinking to myself while she's saying all this shit, I'm like, who is capable of doing this shit, man?
You see like the dean's like she flips her stance really fast. Because like she went from like wanting to give men the benefit of the doubt to all of a sudden it's like, oh, like my child's in a situation. Like, she starts freaking out about it.
Yeah. She tries to call, but Cassie has her phone. But like Cassie needed to borrow her phone for like directions and shit, because Cassie was posing as one of the makeup artists and stuff, and she's like trying to get some help to the diner that they were gonna be at, quote unquote, and they obviously weren't gonna be there posing as a makeup artist. And she like the dean tries to call the phone, and it like rings in her purse, and like Cassie's like, oh yeah, like I have her phone too, and it's just like, oh my god, like, oh, so savage. After like she lets the dean just like get her emotions out and like realize the situation, she's like, do you really think I'm capable of doing that? Your daughter's at a diner.
Yeah.
It's like, you might want to call the diner to make sure she's there. She's like, just wanted to give you some perspective, basically. And like littered throughout these scenes, like cut in between them, we get to see that like Bo and Cassie, or I keep calling him Bo. What's his name?
I don't remember what his name is in the movie.
Fuck. I just like kept looking at it as Bo Burnham because he's playing Bo Burnham.
Yeah, he can just be Bo.
His Bo.
For all we care.
He's a child pediatrician, we should also say. They like keep going on dates and stuff, and I think on their first date, he like is like, hey, do you want to go to my apartment? And he's like, oh shit, he's like, we don't have to, like I can call you a cab, like
He fucks up a little bit.
yeah. He's like, oh, I just fucked up, didn't I? He's like, Cassie, I'm not like that, and like she ended up like comes back to his work. She goes to his work, and like she's like kind of surprises him there, and is like, hey, like I'd like to still see you, and he's like, yes. He's very, very likable in this movie. It's like hard to describe. Like his character he's just playing Bo Burnham because he's just so funny.
He has like a natural like charm to him.
Yeah, you like him a lot, and you want them to keep dating. You like just want it to work, and they go on more dates, and you can kind of tell that they're falling in love type of deal, and then they go to her work and stuff, and Cassie's boss kind of like harasses him a little bit, and like just being like, well, if you guys are gonna fuck, I don't want to see ass cheek prints in the coffee grinds. Which I thought was funny. But her friend was like super supportive of her, and like wanted to see her like fall in love and stuff, because she always seemed like in such a bad mood at work and stuff. So I'm
surprised that her work buddy like doesn't have more of a impact on the story. Like you see her at the coffee shop, and like that's like the entire character right there.
Just like her coworker. Well, it's really her boss.
I just figured that like maybe she'd have some bearing on the story, but it doesn't really go that direction.
She's like that supportive friend type role. I believe next, like in the Act 3 scene, she goes to Dr. Octavius from Spider-Man 2's house.
Yeah. What's his name? Alfred Molina?
Look at you. Encyclopedia, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know that the West Encyclopedia is for it, but human Wikipedia at least.
I only know his name because I watched Boogie Nights a couple weeks ago.
Is he in that?
Yeah, he's like he plays like a big time like drug dealer in that movie.
I don't think I've seen him in anything other than Spider-Man 2. Maybe he's like just like an early 2000s actor. Maybe
I'm sure he's
I just haven't seen him littered throughout many movies I've seen.
I bet he's like in stuff that we've seen, and like we just didn't realize it was him because he looks like way different in this movie. I mean, he's like older and
he has a beard, and he's like a lawyer. He's an attorney, and he has defended like many sexual assault victims, and you can just see that the firm like gives his address away. He like has instructed them, and like he is like taking a quote unquote sabbatical release, had like a psychotic break because he's basically had to like get all these sexual assault
like offenders
the suspects. He's had to get all these young men, like get them through these cases and stuff, and Al Monroe was one of them, and he remembered Nina. Like he was the first person to remember Nina, and he's like, I don't remember her last name, but I remember her name was Nina. And like it's kind of a short scene. Like I wanted it to like be a little bit more I don't know, it just didn't feel like that emotional like I feel like it was going for, because like she cries a little bit, and like she forgives him and stuff, and he wants her to forgive him. Like you can tell like that he's like the first person that really like gave a shit, even though like, and he was like a part of the crime, like he had to do with the whole situation.
Like that Cassie was probably going to his house with like the thought of like really fucking this man up.
He was the one that was fucked up already.
Yeah, like he already like had guilt over the entire situation.
And when they left, there was a man like outside of Cassie's car, and he's like, "Do I go in now? Should you forget about that guy?" There's a guy outside the car waiting for Cassie to come outside, and he's like, "Do I go in now?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Well, do I still get paid?" And she's like, "Yes." So she had the intentions of
doing something
to it. We never get to find out, really. And then after that, I think this scene's kind of weird. I think I kind of get what it was going for. Because
Yeah.
after this, she's like in her car on the intersection, just like sitting there with her head against the steering wheel.
I forgot about this, actually.
Yeah, that guy in the truck is like basically like verbally harassing her, being like calling her like a cunt and like telling her like I
Like,
forget-
just
I
because she's,
forget-
like, parked on the side of the road or, like...
having like road rage, yeah. And then she like gets out and like busts his tail lights and busts his windshield, drives off. So it was such a weird thing.
It was, like, disconnected from everything else in the movie, kind of.
I don't know if it was like to imply like her not being able to like control her emotions or like I don't know, because like a lot of the other characters throughout the movie kind of say like, oh, she's got like mental illness problems and stuff, and so I don't know like really what the scene's purpose was, other to show that like Cassie was like at least tired or like thinking about things deeply, and then it was like interrupted by an asshole standard hick that's having road rage and like basically calling her a bitch and a cunt and like being an asshole. And I don't know really other than what that scene was supposed to serve to the whole story, but it was kind of there and I kind of had forgotten about it like until I just watched it today, so the movie's pretty fresh.
I don't know what the purpose of that scene was either, because I remember thinking, like, after it was over, I was like, is this going to be followed up on?
Yeah,
But it's
like
not.
Like, is it like she gonna get some sort of court charge or something? Like, nothing ever came from it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird. It's kind of just to show like her, I don't know, like her,
Like she doesn't give a damn
Yeah.
about anything or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think what happens after this.
There's a scene where she goes to pick up a guy at the bar, and when she's leaving with him, she runs into Bo's, Bo Burnham's character.
Oh, you know what? She goes home and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that we had a date tonight. They were supposed to go to the movies and dinner and a movie." And he's like, "Well, if we leave now, we can still make the movie." And she's like, takes a rain check, and then she goes to the bar and then walks out with that guy and then runs into Bo. She's like, "Bo, what are you?" Or I keep calling him Bo. It's not his fucking name, but you get
What
the
are you
point.
doing here, Bo?
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, I had to change a schedule, so I was meeting a couple of friends, and it was kind of like, yeah."
Like, as an audience member, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, Bo doesn't know what she's doing. Like, she's, like, clearly not out cheating on him, but it'd be harder to explain. Yes, I take men home and psychologically torture them.
And he never finds out either.
No, he doesn't.
Even until the end of the movie, he never finds out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they run into each other, and it's like, oh, fuck. Like, I was like, damn it. I was like, damn it.
The relationship's not going to work out.
After that, Madison had been, like, calling Cassie for, like
days.
Days, and, like, had left a bunch of voicemails, and, like, I was like, damn. And, like, you could tell that Madison's like, I don't know what happened. Like, I woke up in a hotel room, and I think she's like, did you see me talking to anybody? And she's, like, freaking out. And she's at Cassie's house, like, when she gets home from the grocery store, it looks like. She's like, don't worry, like, nothing happened. And she's like, well, can we go inside? And then the whole point of it is that Madison has a videotape of what happened to Nina. And unfortunately, Cassie watches the tape. Like, she could have just, like, brought that to court, like, could have brought that evidence forward and then, like, not had to watch it. It would have, like, got caught up with Al and stuff, and, like, he would have finally, like, but she watched it even after Madison said, don't watch it, after she left and stuff. Unfortunately, Bo's character is in the recording, like, at the party.
Yeah.
And it's just like, fuck, man. It's like, oh, when that happened, I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, I want this to work.
I was pretty heartbroken when that happened,
Yeah.
like, to be honest.
I was like, fuck. I was like, there's no nice men out there. They don't exist.
Yeah.
I was like, not even Bo Burnham is a good guy. I was like, fucking heartbroken.
Like, he didn't, like, partake.
No.
But, like, the fact that he was there, like, not objecting to what's happening is, like, makes him, like, an accomplice, basically. So, yeah, that was tragic, in my opinion.
She brings it to him at the doctor's office.
And his reaction is not a good one. Like, he does the same thing as every other man in the movie. He, like, deflects or tries to justify.
We were kids, and I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, God. I was like, you're not a redeemable character anymore. I was so sad. It broke my fucking heart. He, like, calls her a loser, and she's like, oh, will you get fired for this? And she's like, yeah, go ahead and do that, Cassie. You'll make us both losers. And it's like, I was like, no, dude, not even happening now. That's how I knew. Like, I was like, this shit ain't gonna work out.
So, does she not get the,
She gets the invitation from
Bo?
Bo, the address for the bachelor party.
Yeah, that Al Monroe's throwing.
She had deleted her Facebook account, quote unquote, had started over through like the journal of all the tally marks of all the men and all the names that she had down of the men that were pigs or whatever. And she like had started like to finally get better, and her parents were so proud, like brought Bo over for dinner, and like this like literally this scene just throws all of that out the door. And that's how you know, like, she's not gonna like move on from it.
Yeah,
and she's just gonna like
continue the cycle.
Yeah, I was like so sad, and I just wanted this to be a happy ending. But I knew going into it that it probably end in some sort of tragic way. Not all dark comedies do. Stranger Than Fiction ends in a pretty good way.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of other dark comedies that I've seen. Can't think of really anything that like is good.
Have you ever seen Burn After Reading?
Mm-mm.
Have you heard of it?
Mm-mm.
It's a Coen Brothers movie. It's got like Brad Pitt and.
Did Coen Brothers? Did they do Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
I don't remember.
I think
they might have.
I think they did. That's a great movie.
Never seen it. They did like a Fargo, No Country for Old Men.
I've never seen No Country for Old Men or Fargo.
They're both excellent.
Well, yeah, you got two movies over me on the Coen Brothers.
Yeah.
Where were we at?
Go off on random tangents.
Just like fucking, just our lives have been destroyed now that Bo Burnham's not a redeemable character. But like since she had moved on and everything, like you thought, like she was like even looking at the bachelor party thing before she deleted her Facebook account. Like she like literally just like deleted her Facebook account and like threw her journal away. And I was like, she's starting over. And then she gets the address for the bachelor party from Bo, and like Bo like still knows them, and he like goes to their wedding and stuff. Like
yeah, that should have been a red flag in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's still like associated with these people.
Well, like even in the coffee shop, like you can like it's like even audibly implied that Al Monroe is the bad guy because she like starts having like a panic attack. Like the audio like gets really distorted and like a really heavy bass synth comes in, kind of thing, like over the dialogue to like imply that she's having like internal conflict, and like that's to flag that Al Monroe is the one who did it. I forgot about that, but like. Because they were talking about friends and like they still talk to all those people and stuff. But Cassie is going to the fucking bachelor party, posing as a stripper in a nurse like costume, and Al's buddy Joe and all them down in the like a cabin
Out in the middle of nowhere, basically.
Yeah. She like throws her license plate off the car and stuff. And I'll tell you what, let's take a piss break because I gotta piss, and we'll get to the end of the movie.
Yeah, we'll come wrap it up after that.
Piss break. She is going to this fucking bachelor party. God damn it, man.
This scene's like really tense. Like I had like a. Like my heart was just like beating like real hard during this part.
For those of you that don't experience anxiety on a regular basis, it feels like there's a black hole in the center of your being.
Yeah,
and your mass is being sucked inward, and that's what this scene gave me. Like
that's a good way to put it.
The whole time, dude. It like just makes you feel like your organs are squeezing from the inside, and like your center of gravity is now within your chest. This whole scene. I just knew that she wasn't going to leave the cabin.
You had that feeling?
Well, I thought she was like going there to like kill this man.
That's what I was thinking too.
She basically poses as a stripper and like is kind of like a more of a dominatrix type, and like makes all these men get down on their knees and like drink out of this bottle of like liquor and stuff, and
which she's secretly like
has
roofied
them.
Yeah.
And then she takes Al for a private dance, and he like kind of seems redeemable in a way, because he's like, oh, we're not like you're not actually gonna do anything, are you? Because he's like, I'm about to get married, and I don't want that. She's like, oh, don't worry, like, and then she like handcuffs him to the bed frame, and she's like, oh, when I do private dances, sometimes men get a little handsy, so this is just for my safety. And she's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna do anything or hurt you or anything. And then like slowly she like starts revealing. And she's like, ask he's like, what's your name? And I forget her like alias name that she gives.
I think she says like her name's Nina. Like
well,
she gives like her friend's name.
She says something, and she says her real name. Her real name being Nina, and she's like Nina Fisher, and he's like, this isn't fun anymore. Like he's like, she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, who put you up to this? Did Joe put you up to this? She's like, no, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, he's like, that can't be possible because Nina Fisher's dead. She's like, well, maybe it's a common name. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, this is about to be bad.
I was like genuinely curious about like what she was planning on doing to him, which she kind of explicitly says like, I'm gonna carve Nina's name like in your body.
Basically finds out like she's Nina's friend. Basically like why Nina killed herself was like Nina had to walk around with his name all over her. When people saw her, they only saw you. And when she saw herself, she only saw you. And now you're going to walk around with her name on you. And as she goes to carve Nina's name into his chest,
breaks the handcuff.
He breaks the handcuff and like basically like smothers her, like kills her.
Yeah.
With a knee over the pillow and stuff. And like
this scene was painful.
Yeah, like because it doesn't like shy away from showing any of it. Like you just get to see him like murder this woman. But,
yeah,
like he's like crying and like freaking out, and
he has to like sleep in the bed next to this dead body
because he probably doesn't sleep. But
well, yeah, but like nobody finds him till the next morning. Like
Joe comes up and it's like, what are you talking about? When this scene happened, I was thinking this whole time like, oh, she's gonna like, get up. And, like, it'll be like all the rest of them, like, oh, like, she's not really dead under there.
That's
and,
what
like,
I was hoping.
And it'll be, like, videotaped, and, like, they can all see, and, like, that's how it's going to end. But, like, we should say that, like, the detectives... Oh, we'll get to that in a minute, but, like, she's dead, and, like, I was, like, wanting her to get up.
Yeah.
Like, they never show her face or anything after she's dead, and so, like, I was like, what's going on? They, like, go and, like, burn her body out in the woods, like, near the cabin. I was like, oh, like,
yeah,
this is real.
This was, like, a really stark change of reality. Because, like, the whole movie kind of has this, like, fantasy kind of element to it. And then when she's murdered, I mean, you watch him with, like, put his knee on a pillow for, like, 2 straight minutes. So it's, like, coming to reality. Like, you know, reality's gonna, like, punch you in the fucking face.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a really dark turn. I mean, like, them going to burn her body, like, outside, like, it's real fucked up.
And her parents file a missing persons report, and, like, then the detectives find out that she was seeing someone, which was Bo, and the detective comes to the pediatrician's office, and Bo's thinking, oh, shit, they're coming for the sexual assault thing as, like, a witness and stuff.
Yeah.
And really, they explain to her that, but, like, Bo can't say where she's at or where she went because it will reveal everything else, the sexual assault and why she would have went, and he couldn't be a part of it. And I was just like, it only like further like destroys his like character's morality. And, like you're like hoping him,
like, you know, he's like a straight up shithead at this point.
Even though like out of all the men in the movie, like just the way he was doing his best to like be a more like noble and like moral man and like try to like lead a relationship correctly and like express that they were falling in love for each other like to their faces and stuff. At the end of the movie, like Bo doesn't like take the humble route and like just explain what happened. He like deflects it away and tries to forget about it like how everyone else had throughout the whole movie. You get to see that like during the wedding ceremony, like Bo's there and everything, that like the police start arriving, and then Cassie starts texting, and then even at this part I was like, oh, she's still fucking alive, dude.
Yeah, it was like a pre-timed
it's a
message.
scheduled a scheduled message. And what had happened is that Cassie like let the lawyer know, Dr. Octavius, what the fuck his name is, let him know like where she was, and like if she wasn't to if she was missing, to call the police. I would love to like go back. I wish I owned the movie instead of rented it so like I could see the scene, because she writes stuff on the card and I want to know like the time, because at like 6 p.m. those messages start coming in and I'm like, oh, like when would he have called and stuff, so like to basically crash the wedding and stuff. I'm sure it was in there, and I just didn't get a chance to like really like confirm it for myself.
Yeah.
She's like, you didn't really think it was over on that text message and stuff. She's like now it is basically. And then like you can see like they arrest Al, and Joe starts running, and like you kind of just get to see like Bo's character's like dumbfounded face at the end. Yeah, like that was literally the movie, and it's just like, wow.
Like it ends with a victory, but it feels like a hollow victory.
Yeah,
because like you really you learn to like Cassie a lot more as the movie goes on.
And like after the movie, like I couldn't help but think about like the people around her and like what will happen to like their lives, and like she'll just end up like Nina.
Yeah, well, like forgotten or something.
Or
basically.
like just like hang over everyone's lives that she affected and stuff. Like her parents and stuff. I couldn't help but like think about her parents and stuff afterward, and like Bo and like, or his character. He's Bo. He's Bo in this movie. Bo's playing Bo. Like you said, it felt like a hollow victory. Like I couldn't help but still feel defeated in a way.
Yeah,
Like maybe like was it all worth that for her to like die? But like that was her character's whole motive to begin with.
yeah, just
she
to
got to
avenge
see-
her friend's death. During like the cabin scene and like everything leading up to it, did you not have the nagging feeling that Bo was going to come to save the day?
Yeah, I thought he was gonna bust through the door.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I wanted. I wanted him to bust through the door and be like, "What is happening here?"
like he knew where she was going, when she was going,
And he didn't follow. And I wanted him to
Yeah.
save the day.
Like as an audience member, like even though like he's already established himself to like not be as morally good as you wished he was, like you keep giving him chances. Like you think he's gonna come save her when she's getting like suffocated, and then you think, well, when the police come talk to him, he'll spill the beans and like tell them where she's at.
In this situation.
But he fucks it up every time. It's like you just want to keep giving him the benefit of the doubt. Like,
Yeah.
you still, even after knowing what he did, you want to believe that he can turn it around.
Yeah,
But he
just
does
doesn't.
not.
He like cracks under the pressure of the situation. It made me so sad. Obviously, like this story is super like fantasized. Like I don't believe that things would be like this in real life.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, even Cassie throughout the movie, it was like, oh, you wouldn't believe I'm not the only one that does this. Like, there's one girl that walks around with a pair of scissors that does this, and like,
Oh God.
so like, I mean, maybe people do this in real life. Like, maybe I don't know.
It's
Like,
possible. I don't know.
We never ran into it though, because we're not shitheads. So
Yeah.
but it's kind of it's a pretty fantasized story. Like it's a pretty non-grounded in reality, based on like human behavior. So I mean, but I really like the movie. Like I love the movie. Like I will be watching this again when it's available for purchase.
Yeah, I thought this movie was excellent. One of the things that I found really interesting, like she's psychologically messing with people throughout the entire movie. And the one time that she actually like intends to do like physical harm to somebody is when it like, backfires.
in her face. Yeah.
I don't know if it's like trying to make a statement on like how pointless the act of revenge is. Not to bring up like video games and shit, but the Last of Us 2 game that came out last year was all about like the hollowness of revenge, like how it like
It doesn't make you feel better about getting revenge. Like
it's like a hollow cycle.
well, that's why revenge, I don't know if it's considered a sin or like one of the deadly, like 7 deadly sins, but like it doesn't make you feel good about getting back at people.
Yeah, it doesn't fix anything. It just like
It only creates more damage.
yeah.
Like you can think like people in your life that you would like to get back at, or like people that have like said shit to you. Like if like you could say shit to them, like it would only cause more harm. It's like, why would I say that to that person? Or I'm glad you brought that up, because I didn't really think about that. Because the only time she does actually try to act upon it, like in a physical manner and like attack the problem at its source, it backfires right in her face and she dies. Like it's like the ultimate price she pays for it.
I wasn't able to decide if she knew she was gonna die when she went to the cabin. Like,
Yeah.
was her death part of the plan, or like was it like an accident?
Like, why did she throw the license plate off the car?
I mean, like clearly she like had an idea that she was gonna die because she sent out the text messages and the letter to the lawyer
Maybe
and all that.
maybe she was gonna like kill herself.
Yeah, because I mean, like the only way that Al Monroe got arrested is for her murder. He wasn't arrested for being a rapist or whatever. This movie says interesting things about sexual assault and like the culture of it. Like you want to give nice guys the benefit of the doubt. You want to doubt the victims. I thought this movie tackled that subject matter like the best it could.
Yeah, it was a graceful way to approach the subject. Like, because I'm still thinking about it, and I'm not like shying away from it. Like I'm not like trying to put it off in my brain.
Yeah,
Like I don't live on a campus, and I know people that do, and like Elizabeth has lived on campus before, and when she's gone to parties without me, dude, it is the worst feeling. It makes me so anxious. There was one time she was in Chicago with a bunch of her friends and stuff for a school trip, and I was just like riddled with anxiety because she was like walking around the city, like had been drinking and stuff.
You just don't you don't trust people.
Yeah,
And, like,
it's not that I don't trust her. It's like I just don't trust. Like literally what I said. It's like I don't trust other people.
There's fucked up people out there, man.
Like you want to believe that like there are good people, but like sometimes they're shitty people. Like not everybody deserves the benefit of the doubt sometimes. This movie like made you just like really consider every aspect of like a situation like that. Like being at a college, the friends that surround the situation, the family members that are surrounding the situation.
Like respectable, educated people are capable of being terrible. I don't know. The movie tackled that really well.
I think so too. It's kind of funny to like kind of see that the real sexual like assault victim, the main antagonist, was like a high status man that like who was that one guy that was on trial, not on trial, but like he was going to be a Supreme Court justice.
You're talking about Epstein or Epstein?
No, not Epstein. Brett.
Oh, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, yeah, Brett Kavanaugh. That situation.
I watched those court hearings.
Yeah,
that was like painful.
I remember all that happening. That was a couple years ago. I just thought it was interesting that was the case, and like even the dean was like, "Oh, I can't just ruin a young man's life," and like, "Oh, like but like Brett Kavanaugh, but Al got like everything that he wanted. He got the money and like a career, and he got to date a model, and he's marrying a model, and all of his friends are high status people, and like Nina and Cassie are like kind of like left in the dust surrounding the situation. I just thought it was like how much that could ruin someone's life, like how much like situations like that could like eat them alive, and like some people can't get past that, and like I'm not a woman, and nor could I imagine like doing that to someone, but like shit like that really happens, like, and it does like derail people's fucking lives, and just fucks you up, man.
This movie had a really interesting history of like before it was released. I mean, I do have to applaud it because it's a relatively low budget like indie film. Like this wasn't going to be like a $200 million box office, you know, or whatever.
And like how much would tickets would this sell if like the theaters were back in full swing anyway?
Yeah, this movie was supposed to come out like in March of last year.
Really?
But it was postponed because of COVID.
Okay, that makes sense.
And like my wife had been badgering me about it for months, wanting to see this movie because like the trailer was out for it, and like it just kept getting pushed back until now. You know, it went straight to like video on demand instead of being released in theaters. So I'm glad it was released. I don't know if it would have made money if it was released in theaters. Yeah, I hope this movie like succeeds.
Honestly, this is a movie for like cultured moviegoers in anyway.
Yeah,
like if I suggest this movie to anybody, it's going to be like close friends that I'll suggest this movie to my brother. Like I know he can handle it and stuff, but like I'm not going to suggest this shit to like my dad or anything like that. Like it'll just waste their time.
It'll be another Manchester by the Sea situation or something.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna reference that. He was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "What do you mean, what the fuck?" That's a great movie. But I'll make sure my stepbrother watches this movie and stuff. I'll text him here in just a few minutes and let him know, because I just really enjoyed this movie. I'm really glad you suggested it. I definitely would never have watched it if you wouldn't have suggested it to me. Well, first off, because it's $20 to rent.
Yeah, it'll go down here eventually.
Yeah, you'll be able to buy it here soon.
Yeah, this movie's got 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's pretty damn good.
It's a reliable source sometimes.
So there's like a lot of potential like in the directing realm, because the director of this movie, her name's Emerald Fennell. Okay. And this is her first film.
Damn.
Yeah, this is her first movie. Damn. So that's a really fucking good first movie to have on your resume or whatever.
On your filmography.
So look out for her in the future.
I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah,
I'm really glad you suggested it.
If you had to give it a rating, what would it be?
Like an 8 or 9 out of 10.
I would go strong 8.5.
I really enjoyed this movie, for real. Like, after I watched it, I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, damn, that was a fucking good movie. Like, as I was getting ready for my day and shit. And
yeah. I'm glad you liked it, because I wasn't like 100% confident when I recommended it. I'd seen it the day before we recorded our last podcast for Daft Punk, and I was like, I want to talk about this with somebody. This is the one. This is the one I want to talk about.
Did Olivia enjoy the movie? Did it live up to her expectations?
Yeah, she loved it.
It was a good movie. It was like good to see. I'm not trying to fall into the category of the men in this movie, but like it was really good to see like a strong female lead movie. Obviously, this is like a touchy subject, and it could be like even like a politicized or like a social issue.
Yeah.
And it tackled it really, really well. Like it didn't make me fucking feel bad for being a man. It only just made me like pity the men that are like this. I liked it a lot.
Not every movie is like good at tackling subjects like this. Me and Olivia rewatched Gran Torino recently.
Oh man, I haven't seen that in years.
I saw it when I was like 15 for the first time.
Yeah.
And like watching it as a 27-year-old, it felt like it would have been more effective if Clint Eastwood just came on screen and went, racism is bad. Like,
yeah.
Like it was a really shallow take on racism.
I remember that movie not feeling very fulfilling.
Clint Eastwood, his movies are really hit or miss when he writes and directs or whatever. But
I liked American Sniper a lot, but I think that movie kind of gets kind of taken in the wrong direction.
I don't like that one really, to be honest.
I like it, but I think the point of the movie was to be like war is bad.
I thought it felt like American like propaganda or something.
Well,
like pro war.
I think its intentions was to be war is bad and war is destructive to all aspects of people, but I don't think it achieved that, and it kind of just turned into like basically like turning Chris Kyle into a fucking martyr. Like, I don't know.
And like, in real life, he wasn't like apparently he wasn't so much of a good guy.
Yeah, like his movies are kind of hit or miss, but I like that movie because I like seeing Bradley Cooper like deal with the tragedies of war. But
yeah, I think Bradley Cooper's a great actor.
Man, he is a great actor. You know, he plays Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that until like a couple years ago, and I'm like, I'm a dumbass. Like, how did I not know that?
You know what movie he's really good in?
What?
Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, man. I watched that movie on a day off probably like back in November or October.
Was that like your first time seeing it?
Yeah, I had never seen it. And that movie like wrecked me too. I really like Jennifer Lawrence's character in that movie. And him at the end being like telling his ex-wife like it's not you and like but like thanks for coming kind of thing, and I'm like fuck yeah. I'm like yeah.
That's a feel-good movie.
That's a good movie. Movie gave me a ton of anxiety though. Because he like embodies the fucking like full-on manic bipolar, and I'm like, whew.
For one of my college courses a couple years ago, I had to like teach my class about a certain like mental illness, and my subject was bipolar disorder.
Elizabeth did that too.
Really?
She did the same thing too.
Like I showed my class clips from the movie as like my examples, and I thought it was effective.
Yeah, because he's like he comes into the parents' room with the book. He's like fucking book.
He's like, this is bullshit.
It's like 2 a.m.
He's like, come on, mom.
Like Robert De Niro's character in that movie makes me so happy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, when he like apologizes to him, oh, that shit wrecks me. I'm like, damn. Robert De Niro is such a great actor.
He's a legend.
Such a beast. He fucking hates Donald Trump too. but
does he like make tweets about political shit like that all the time?
Probably. I don't have a Twitter.
That's right. You're off the grid.
I'm a clean man when it comes to social media. Except for Snapchat, and sometimes I'll be sitting on the fucking shitter and just get sucked down the hole of like stupid Daily Mail shit, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? And I'm like, it's not what I came in here to shit, not to be pissed off about Kylie Jenner's new ass, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I never use Snapchat.
Fuck Snapchat. I'm about to delete it right now.
I like Twitter, and like that's about it. And Reddit, which is really not even like social media to me. But
it's where all the degenerate Wall Street Bets kids meet up.
Hey, these kids are gonna make me rich, okay?
One of these days we'll be fucking pumping Motorola stock here before we know it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was a random tangent. I don't know how we went through so many subjects in a matter of minutes.
Because this is how it fucking happens. It's how it's supposed to be. I was gonna give you a couple options. I'm doing a movie because I've done albums the last few times.
No, don't give me options. Just tell me what I'm watching.
Well, both of them I want to do, but the one I want to do the most right now is Interstellar. And
okay,
we're gonna watch that.
Interstellar.
Yes.
So weirdly enough, I've never seen that movie, and I'm a fan of Christopher Nolan. I mean, for the most part, like the movies I have seen by him.
I didn't want to do Tenet. I wanted to watch Interstellar because I feel like I'll have a little bit more of a. I want to show you. I know you haven't seen the movie, so I want to show it to you. And I went down a rabbit hole the other night on YouTube listening to like Hans Zimmer, and I watched a couple like of his live performances of some of his
The orchestral scores and stuff.
yeah, dude, something about Hans Zimmer just fucking loves to wreck the human soul.
He's like the modern day like John Williams.
Exactly,
Kinda.
him and I've gone down the rabbit hole of John Williams as well because I had been watching Star Wars with Elizabeth for a couple weeks. Like she had watched them all. Like I had watched like Revenge of the Sith, and the prequels suck. But if I'm gonna meme it up, but like the prequels aren't that great in like the grand scheme of things. But I like them.
Yeah.
Anakin's betrayal. I went down that rabbit hole. Like when he's fucking killing them kids and shit, and like
The
just-
younglings.
if you just like listen to like that song, it creates such a sense of like despair and dread, and like that's a movie where like the villains win, and I can't help but feel sad for fucking Obi-Wan. Like, why does fucking Obi-Wan have to feel so sad? Like I feel so bad for him.
I've never been a big Star Wars guy, but like I feel like I need to return and like give it a chance again.
Return of the Jedi. Sorry. But
Is it the newest one?
no, that's the episode 6 of like the original trilogy. Like
Oh yeah.
But-
There's a Return of the something in the newest trilogy, isn't there?
there's Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, okay.
Which
It's a rise, not a return.
I don't want to talk about fuck them. Hey, Force Awakens is good though. Force Awakens
That's what I've heard.
is good. The Last Jedi cements the downfall.
That's what I've heard.
But yeah, so I want to do Interstellar. I will talk probably more about Hans Zimmer than anything. We haven't done a movie with like Hans Zimmer score yet anyway, have we?
No. Actually, I almost didn't recommend Promising Young Woman. I almost recommended a movie called True Romance last week, or 2 weeks ago. It's a movie written by Quentin Tarantino, but not directed by him.
I was going to
And,
say
and
that's
Hans Zimmer does the soundtrack for that movie.
True
I
Romance.
almost recommended that. Feels like a Tarantino movie, but
Just not with a Tarantino flair.
yeah, but it's not as good as like his directed movies. But
Yeah.
that would have been our first Hans Zimmer movie, but it wasn't.
Well, I could do Kung Fu Panda because, hey, listen.
But does Hans Zimmer do the music for Kung Fu Panda?
Fuck yeah, he does. How the fuck does that movie get so... Oh, man.
I've never seen it.
Dude, listen to me. Lord of the Rings is great, but Kung Fu Panda trilogy might be better, okay?
There's 3 of them.
There's 3 of them.
I didn't. I knew there's a television show too, isn't there?
Oh, there used to. Yeah, I think there was. There was. I think they're on Netflix now. I think maybe. First Kung Fu Panda, great. Second Kung Fu Panda, wrecks the soul. Third Kung Fu Panda, it's alright. But like, listen,
Expert on Kung Fu Panda over
hey,
here.
I'll die on a fucking hill on Kung Fu Panda, dude. I don't give a fuck. It's so good.
You know what? You're somebody with an opinion that I trust. So
It's
maybe
just
I will.
dude, it's just the music.
Oh, it's just the music?
The music makes the movies, but they're.
You know, I
'Cause-
like Jack Black. So I mean, isn't he the main voice actor? in
Dude,
that?
I will laugh my ass off to some fucking Kung Fu Panda, and it gives you the fucking feels. We're watching Kung Fu Panda one of these days.
Okay.
All right, we're
Future podcast topic right there.
the next one is going to be Interstellar. I'm excited for you to watch it because I've been waiting for you to watch this movie for years. So
It came out in like 2016, 2015,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, so I'm 6 or 7 years late to the party on this one.
it's gonna be all right though because it's not the best Christopher Nolan movie, but I think you'll like it.
In general, like people have a really positive opinion towards that movie.
Yeah, I might meme the shit out of it too though at times, but it's a good movie. I'm excited for you to watch it.
Yeah, well, that'll be an interesting discussion.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
All right, adios.